When 31-year-old Kain Tailby stood in front of a full courtroom that was filled with his victim's family, Kain had the expression of a man who had been hard done by the system. Kain was self-sorrowful and he pitied himself. The room fell silent. The trial had come to an end and the facts were established. Kain had killed the woman he claimed to love and cherish in a flood of rage because he woke up in a bad mood. He had belittled his girlfriend over the course of an argument and had even been captured on CCTV using his hands to her as the couple made their way back to the flat mere hours before the M was committed. The judge simply says, "You have been found guilty of killing your girlfriend, 21-year-old Christine Everett Hickson." Kain's defense team had attempted to do damage control and push for a charge of manslaughter after Kain told police he had woke up in a bad mood on the day of the incident, the 18th of February 2024. The cruel and wicked and conniving man had aimed his girlfriend on a day that was meant to be joyous, a celebration. It was the couple's first anniversary. Kain Tailby was told by Judge Sean Smith that so many lives have been changed forever by your act. Your explosion of anger and rage snuffed out the life of your partner, Chrissy Everett Hickson. Lives of many people, including your own, have all been unraveled. Chrissy's own mom forgave you, and that's an unbelievable act of compassion. This was an abuse of trust and power. She was entitled to feel safe in her own home. Kain Tailby was a bakery worker from Ridings, near Alfreton in Derbyshire. Now he had gone to the pub with his partner, 21-year-old Christine, who was also better known by the name Chrissy, to celebrate their 1-year anniversary. Originally, the couple had tried to go to the cinema, but unfortunately they got on the wrong bus and the cinema was out of the question, because Kain had thrown a tantrum. When Kain was interviewed by police in the hour after the M was committed, Kain had explained he was already in a foul mood. His mood stemmed from his issues with the cat. Kain says, "We have 2 cats and one of them is a bit temperamental with me. Like 1 minute she's all alright, the next minute she absolutely hates me," he told police. "And she went through one of those hate phases and it aggravated me." He says that they had planned to celebrate their anniversary by going to the cinema in Derby, but then got on the wrong bus. "So I had a bit of a mood on due to the cat. We got on the bus, what we thought would be for Derby, but it didn't. We got off at Ripley and that aggravated me some more. So I says, I'm not going to Derby now, I'm going home. We picked up some cans, gave her one, drank the rest on the walk home, and we decided we'd go to the pub instead." However, Kain could not stop his aggression and could not curb his anger, and on the way home as the couple got closer to their flat in Ridings, Kain's temper got the better of him, to the point that he was caught on CCTV using his hands to push forward Chrissy. Once the dysfunctional couple were in the confines of the 4 walls of the flat, Kain had snapped. He began to slam doors, run his hands through his greasy hair, and let out an aggravated grunt and yell. Immediately, according to the prosecution, Kain Tailby had then charged forward after a defenceless Chrissy and put his 2 manly hands on her neck, his grip tightening like a vice grip. Chrissy fell backwards with Kain on top of his girlfriend and the very woman whom he claimed to love. Kain then, in a backward and forwards motion, had used Chrissy's head and as a baton, making contact with the floor. A neighbour who lived below them recalled telling the police that he heard somewhere between 5 or 6 loud thuds that shook the walls and the ceiling. He then recalled an argument lasting for about 10 minutes, which the male voice was doing most of the shouting, and then it was followed by loud music, and then gurgling sounds. After that, everything became silent. It was immediately, as if a click of the fingers. And because the neighbour heard the bangs immediately after crying and yelling and shouting, they dialed 999 and requested police. So cruel and wicked was Kain that Kain had stopped stroking his girlfriend head off the floor when she stopped moving, only then. Now, this was a man who has very real anger issues, but he was in control of his actions because after red began to leak from Chris's ears, Kain Tailby then changed from a man possessed and then began to evaluate the scene around him. He tried to omit his behaviour, so he began to construct a scene that would potentially get him less jail time if he could convince the police that this was an accident from an argument that stemmed. Kain picked up the motionless Chrissy, wrapped her up in his scrawny arms, and then put Chrissy in the bath. He then went about his way by wiping away the red that had ran from her ears. In the early hours of the morning on February 18th of 2024, after Kain then sat on the stairs, phone in one hand, and then let out of a sigh of desperation, he pressed 9 3 times, put the phone to his ear, and then spoke to emergency services. Kain asked for both police and ambulance to attend his flat in Greenhill Lane. During the call, 31-year-old Kain Tailby calmly told operators that Chrissy had been shoving and pushing him. She got physical with me, so I got physical back. Kain also told police that Chrissy was now in the bath. But when police attended the scene, Kain was disheveled and you could tell he was either intoxicated and had also been crying. Paramedics rushed to work on Chrissy before rushing her to the hospital. Doctors noted that Chrissy had suffered numerous fractured skulls and detrimental brain damage. Chrissy was put on life support to essentially keep the young woman alive. However, after 5 days, Chrissy was sadly and tragically declared dead. In court, Kain Tailby admitted manslaughter. Kain had crossed his fingers and crossed his toes and hoped that the prosecution would accept his plea. However, they did not. They rejected it instead, and instead the court went with the M charge. Now, at Derby Crown Court, 31-year-old Kain Tailby was found guilty of the M, and he was jailed for life. Kain was told that he would have to serve a minimum sentence of 16 years and 329 days in jail before he can be considered for early release. Through the trial, Kain refused to accept proper and real responsibility for his actions. He portrayed himself as a victim of his circumstances by saying that we got a bit physical with each other, and of course, because I'm a man and a bigger person, things got out of hand. I admit I was really angry and I lost control in those few minutes. The fact of the matter was, Kain had grabbed Chrissy and then pushed her head, and then it made contact to the ground multiple times with so much force that her skull had been fractured in multiple places. This was DV, and there was no way for Chrissy to defend herself. She was a victim in every sense of the word. An excuse given for the M was because Kain had woke up in a bad mood because of their cats. The cats didn't like him, and then Kain had missed the bus and it made his anger that much worse. And the end result was sadly to take out all of that frustration, all of that anger, all of that bad energy, and then release it on Chrissy, who had done nothing but love this man. So the question is a minimum term of 16 years and 329 days in jail for committing this crime, is it justified? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay safe, and as always, condolences.